Hey, how's it going guys? Captain Kuba here, and once again it's time to discuss God of War Fallen God. 2 days ago, issue number 2 came out, and I decided to take some time to read it a few times to make sure I didn't miss anything. And frankly, it's kinda hard to miss anything, given how short the comic is. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the story, but $4 for 3 minutes of reading is a little expensive. I know it's not gonna change in the coming issues, but I hope next time Dark Horse gives us a little more content. With that said, this is your last chance to get off this video and read the comic book for yourself. If you click on the link found in the description of the video, it will take you to the page where you can buy it. With that said, let's begin with a summary of what happened in the story. The comic obviously starts right after the first issue ended. Kratos collapses due to exhaustion and finds himself dreaming of one of his old enemies, Athena. I actually want to save this part of the comic for the end of the video, as it's the most interesting part in the entire comic and provides the most content to talk about. So let's continue. After Kratos wakes up, the old Egyptian man is back again asking Kratos if he found answers in his dreams. He also repeats the same message about destiny and that Kratos needs to take a hold of the Blades of Chaos and prepare for a battle that is to come. Kratos being Kratos once again takes up the Blades of Chaos and throws them in an attempt to be rid of them. He continues his journey until he comes across the same village he stopped at during the first issue. This time, however, the villagers are not afraid of him. They're actually glad he's there because a chaos beast has just emerged out of the river and was terrorizing the villagers. The villagers tell him that they pray to the gods for salvation, but Kratos replied with something very similar to this.
The gods care nothing for them. Men should not pray to monsters.
The old man once again appears out of nowhere and suggests that maybe Kratos is the answer to their prayers. Kratos essentially replies that he wants to be left alone and that he simply does not care what happens to the villagers. The old man appeals to Kratos' humanity by asking him if he would have liked for his loved ones to have been treated with mercy, then proceeds to ask if the villagers deserve the same kind of mercy, to which Kratos replies with, perhaps. However, this state of concern for others does not last long, as Kratos assumes the old man is just trying to manipulate him, just as Ares, Athena, or Zeus did earlier in his life. The old man repeats the same message about him not being able to outrun his destiny, and Kratos screams, I control my own actions. My destiny is my own to decide. As Kratos turns around, he realizes the old man is nowhere to be seen, leaving him to wonder if he was only a figment of his imagination. He even turns his skepticism towards the Chaos Beast, but ends up fighting it anyways, leaving us on another cliffhanger. The second issue expands upon the question regarding Kratos' sanity. As the reader, I'm not entirely sure what's real and what's not. If the God of War universe looked similar to our world, I wouldn't really question what isn't real. Obviously, an old man that has the ability to turn into animals and communicate a message about destiny would be a red flag. But characters disappearing or turning into animals is not really weird in the God of War universe. For example, Freya can turn into a bird, while Zeus was able to disappear from the mortal realm at will. This brings us to the 2 panels about Athena. In my opinion, this is the real juicy part of the comic. I'm gonna read it for you so we're on the same page. Pun so frickin' intended. It is time for you to return home and embrace your destiny, Kratos. Athena, I should have known. You're the one responsible for the blades returning to my side. Admit it! We are not yet through, you and I. You must embrace your destiny and fulfill your purpose. Damn destiny, and damn you! It is not enough that I am forced to walk the earth after everything I've ever known or loved is lost to me. Why can you leave me alone? Return home, Kratos. Fulfill your purpose. And the Oscar goes to me for playing 2 characters at the same time. Now, I made a community post asking you guys about these panels, and most of you seem to think that this is only Kratos dreaming about fulfilling destiny, given that that's what the old man keeps repeating to him. I even asked the animation director at Santa Monica Studios, and he seems to agree with you guys. And that's fine, believing that this is only a dream is the most reasonable theory. But let me explain why I think this interaction is more important than it seems. Yes, it's true that this is a dream, but I still think Athena is somehow involved in the message given to Kratos. The first thing to notice is that Athena is not repeating the same message from the old man. For the time being, the old man wants Kratos to fulfill his purpose by killing the Chaos Beast. Athena, on the other hand, wants Kratos to fulfill his purpose by returning to Greece. These messages don't seem to align with each other. Now, the reason I say Kratos is not just dreaming this is because his subconscious would never tell him to return back home, unless there's something he needs, which there isn't. The closest thing might be rescuing his daughter from the fields of Elysium. But Persephone was very clear that he could never see her again, leaving him with nothing on that pantheon. His family's dead, any surviving Greek god would want to kill him for destroying their kingdom, and I'm assuming the humans don't like him very much either. If this is the case, why would his subconscious tell him to return? It wouldn't, but there is someone who would need him to return: Athena. Even though Athena ascended to a higher existence, she still needed Kratos' help for some reason. This didn't work out too well for her because Kratos gave the power of hope to the mortals instead of her. This put a rough patch in their alliance, but she's back to step 1, getting Kratos to help her get the power of hope back from the mortals. This is why she might be using her higher existence power to communicate with Kratos in a dream. Of course, I'm assuming she has this kind of power now. Now, something I noticed when reading the comic is that this Athena is dressed like God of War 1 Athena, not higher existence Athena. And she's also speaking to Kratos in what seems to be a softer tone. In the comments, she says things like, "Return home, Kratos, fulfill your purpose." Meanwhile, in God of War 3, she says things like,
"You disappoint me, Spartan."
To me, these changes make perfect sense if you read the description of the comic. Kratos is no mere man, he is a god, and he will stop at nothing to escape the bonds of predestination. Neither prophecy, nor ancient text, nor manipulation of Athena can put a stop to his single-minded mission to free himself from his past, from his future, and from the suffering of his present. The description of the comic mentions the manipulations of Athena, which is what she seems to be doing by dressing herself as the good Athena and talking to Kratos in a softer tone in the hopes of convincing him to return home. Now the real question here is, will she convince him to do so? I'm certain to believe she will, and I think I have proof. Let me show you something I said when analyzing the cover art for issue number 4 that has not aged very well. The first thing we notice is Kratos climbing a mountain while lightning strikes in the back. Many of you might think this is an image of God of War 3 given its similarities, but it's not. So yeah, in the video I point out that Kratos seems to be climbing a mountain with lightning striking in the background, very similar to Greece during the ending of God of War 3. Is it possible Kratos will return to Greece given what the message of Athena seems to indicate and the cover art of the 4th issue looking so much like the world of Greece? This is for you to discuss in the comment section below. Also, make sure to let me know if you think Athena was actually communicating with Kratos in his dreams or if it was just that, a dream with no meaning. As always, I want to give a big thanks to all of my members for supporting the channel monthly with their hard-earned money. People like Burak Mansit, Alexander Thomas, and Saraj Sagal, to name a few, are the main reason I can still take time to upload these videos. I would also like to thank all of the fans that like and share my videos. Believe it or not, it's actually a good way to help the channel grow. So with that said, thanks for watching, and remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.